All right, experienced Tim Travels. What's up? Had to make sure I was doing this right. I was having problems trying to do it on my computer, but I don't know what the reason was for that. But as you can see, as Tim would say, we're under relaxed grooming standards right now. So I'm just out here in Denver, man. Haven't got a paycheck in 3 weeks. I'm going broke. Now that's a bit of clickbait. That's an homage to my other Prime drivers out there with all their clickbait that they do on all these damn videos. So true, I haven't got a settlement in 3 weeks, but that's because I've been at home chilling. I don't even want to get back now. If I could, I would stay out another 30 days. And by meaning, if I could, meaning if Prime would allow that, I would be home another 30 days. Doesn't look like the weather's all that good out there. I mean, it's windy out here. Our trash cans, had a bunch of stuff blowing over out here. So I know it's a bunch of wind out there. So if you happen to be in the Colorado, Kansas area, keep your head on a swivel. So let me just say this again in case there's some people coming in that haven't watched this. This is clickbait about the three, haven't been paid in 3 weeks, whatever. That's by choice. Take a load from the Arvada. You know what? I thought about that, Terry, but I'm just not sure that our boy is going to be all that happy about that. And trying to keep my man happy is one of the things I try to do. Christy is happy to be off the road. I hear you, Christy. Leighton, what's up? Adish Matthew, what's up? I'm coming at you from Colorado, Centennial, Colorado, basically on the edge of Aurora, Colorado. So let's just say if you're driving through Colorado and you see the Denver airport, I am about 15 miles south of that, almost even with it. Maybe a little bit further west than that. I'm from Denver, 412. Hey, I was watching Freight Skater's video, and he was saying something about you being a troll at one point. I don't think I ever had the opportunity to get trolled by you. Fortunately. So, I'm thinking about getting back out on the truck on like the 4th, something like that, just because I need to get a bunch of stuff organized. I'm not one of these people that could just be like, I'm off of home time. Let me go to the truck and get a load straight out. I need time to settle in on the truck before I get out there really trying to run some stuff. Let's see. 412 says it's me and Terry that made him ease up on Prime. All right, well, I appreciate that. I start back at trucking school to get my auto restriction removed on the 6th. They said it'll take about a week. Christy, I'm glad that you got things going in the direction that you want. And I think, man, for those of you guys that have questions about Prime, I'm all about the lease purchase, okay? There is no better lease purchase in the business, okay? But Christy did a regular lease. She ran a team, and she was talking about a company or a bonus coming back that was upwards of $25,000 if I remember correctly. So that's some good money right there. Georgia trucker, what flavor whiskey am I drinking today? Man, all right. So this water, And I'm trying to go through some stuff before I get back on the road. So this is 3 roses right here. $4.12. I was just always being an ass for no reason. All right. I never got that personally, so I'm glad. All right, we're just gonna stop this shit immediately. All right, Trucker Richie Rich. Yeah, I'm not going back until the 2nd. Working holidays are slow anyways. Richie Rich, I always did well working out when I stayed out over Christmas and Thanksgiving and all that kind of stuff. But at this point right now, I've kind of had a revelation. I was, like maybe 2 months ago, I was sitting in my truck, eating my muffin and drinking my coffee, and I had what some alcoholics refer to as a moment of clarity. And I just started realizing, man, if everything's going to be about business, if that's what Prime is going to stand on, then I got to stand on that myself, and I got to do what makes better business decisions for me. So all that staying out over the holidays and all that kind of stuff, I think I'm about done with that. Immediately, as soon as they put that camera in my truck, I was like, you know what? I'm just going home out of protest alone. I mean, I'm not protesting that specifically, but that was like what was on my mind. Not saying I'm not going to run hard, do what I need to do for my fleet manager, but I'm totally pissed off about that. All right, so anyway, let's see. But me and shit talked on the phone for almost 4 hours. Hey, you could call me anytime too, 412. Shit. Out of PA, and we linked up, and he even showed me. All right. All right, this is going by a little too fast. I should be going to get my truck from the shop tomorrow and get an alignment Thursday. All right, so I think you were saying you had a chance to talk to Freight Skater, if I remember correctly. But these comments are coming. Freight Skater's a good dude. I did throw some shade on the driver advisory board, and I'm not exactly sure I would fit him into that category. I don't know enough, but I will stand on. I don't believe that the driver advisory board is about the driver as much as it is about the company, which I think defeats the purpose. Because shit, anybody can make a. I don't know. I just don't know. All right, they will minus off what they want on my bonus. Better word is escrow. Still waiting to see what it'll be. Christy, I don't think they killed me on the trucks that I turned in. There was one that I thought they were getting a little nitpicky on, but not enough for me to really worry about it. And the one that got turned in Pittston, that was like that. I mean, if I was turning in a truck, that's where I would turn it in, Pittston. All right, I ain't slow, rich. Sawdust be hopping. Okay. I really try, talking about 412, and he went and talked to a freight skater showing the numbers and stuff like that. I have shown people numbers personally, but I've mentioned it on my channel a few times, but that's really not something that I want to do because you can never win. You're either not making enough money or they're not believing the money you're making. So I really kind of try to stay away from that on this channel, but put it this way. I still had a truck payment. I think this last Friday was my last truck payment. I think I might have to pay $100 this next payment to get the title. But with the truck payments, throughout the last, since I've been solo, I'm not even going to lump in when I had multiple trucks running. You've never heard me complain about money ever. I've never been on this platform and mentioned anything about the money at Prime not being good. because that's one thing I don't have to worry about. Now, there's a bunch of other bullshit that's going on at Prime that you do got to worry about, but the money's not it. The culture, some people don't care about that either way. Some people are like, you know, let me just make the money. I'm fine. And I don't care about that stuff, which is cool too. But you will never hear me. I've never complained about money. If you look back at my videos, the one thing I've complained about is actually getting ran too fucking hard, not the money. So, let's see. All right, so asking question about Trex deck. You know what? 412 asked him what they're using the sawdust for. Trex deck. We got one of those, and I'm not sure. I think I might have preferred to get like regular wood than Trex, but that's my thought on that. He isn't even on the dab anymore. He told me that shit was bullshit. Man, I'm telling you, I'm not going to get into that because that could go down a rabbit hole I don't want to go down into, but I've never felt that the driver advisory board was like there for me. Like, I think they're there to push whatever agendas out there by Prime. And that is what it is, All right. All right, Richie Rich, that's 100% truth. Damn. When they imposed the lock trailer crap, I knew they weren't about the driver. I yelled at Eric from driver lineup about that. That right there, Rich, I think was the first step in dividing drivers. That was when you had drivers telling on drivers and doing all this kind of stuff. And, then you had, I think as stupid as that is, that was one of the downfalls of Prime. And actually, one thing I'll say about it is that is my problem with, and I just filled out a survey this morning. That was the problem. That's the problem with Prime, where every single driver gets lumped into. You could be a 30-day driver or a 30-year driver, and you're still having to do the same shit. Like, I would figure, me as a 5-year driver, I should know, hey, I just got to wash out in Rochelle, Illinois. My next pickup is in a straight shot to Milwaukee. And you know what? This is straight ice out here. Maybe now isn't the best time for me to get out of my truck and walk to the back on straight ice and put a lock on my trailer. But no, everybody gets lumped into that. When people say that Prime is a starter company, that's what they're talking about. It can't be the money. It's everybody gets treated like the same. Romaine the trucker, what's up? Tyree, did I finish that Weller bourbon yet? No, I'm still working on that right now. I tell you what bourbon I did go through, and how I judge bourbons is when I look at all my bottles after about a week, and I look at what's full and what's kind of getting close to getting empty or drank further down. Penelope Toasted was the best out of that batch. So that bottle's actually gone. And then I took a bottle of 1792 full proof and a bottle of Still Austin cast strength over to my boy's house yesterday, and we hung out, chilled a little bit, watched some football, and had some of that. And I think I might have only had like 3 shots of that. Tito's and soda, greetings from Pennsylvania. What is up? I'm trying to get back on this. Tim Travels, that's the thing. Money in this business is okay. It's all the other stuff you got to deal with. Absolutely. And like I said, me nitpicking about Prime has nothing to do with the money. Most of it is just like, I don't want to get, I got to keep this, I want to keep this video up, so I'm not going to go into it. But I would say non-trucker people at Prime trying to act like they know about trucking type shit. I'll just leave it at that. All right. What's crazy is it could all be so easy, but yet nobody ever wants to do shit properly. And a lot of that depends on what's proper. I don't think that putting a lock on a trailer to drive 40 miles down the road in freezing weather just so you could damn near break your neck to put a lock on a trailer and then have a frozen lock when you get where you're going makes a ton of sense. But since we're doing everything based on the lowest common denominator, everybody is having to do that shit, and it doesn't make any sense. The dab assholes stuck up for Prime when I crapped on them about Jason Pearson. I don't even know if that's a driver advisory board issue. Terry, if you go on Google and type in like Prime driver advisory board minutes of meetings, you can see some of the goofy shit that they talk about on there, which is really nothing. So when somebody had asked me, Lyle, you should probably be on the driver advisory board. That would be the quickest way for me to get out of this company and get fired, would be me like explaining because they're talking about shit that doesn't even fucking matter half the time. Now, some of the stuff they have no control over anyway, I understand that, but really it just seems like a way for people to, it's just a way to have an agenda pushed with the backing of the driver advisory board so nobody would have a chance to complain about it. Now I'm done with that. I'm not continuing on. All right, all these rules today is for people not doing stuff right in the first place. I absolutely agree, Tyree. Terry really is the one, though, held nothing back and exposed Prime after what they did dirty. Yeah, hey, shout out to Terry, because I do have a level of self-preservation that I'm trying to stick to when I do some of this stuff. So there are certain things I'm not going to get too deep on. And a lot of you kind of can tell when I'm treading that a little closely. What's your review about Weller? Because I'm thinking about ordering a bottle. Tyree, I think it was good. I don't know what the guy paid for it, but Weller is basically a wheated bourbon, right? So I would probably go for something that's a little less money from what I've seen. I'd probably go with like a Maker's Mark, cask strength, or something. Not the base Weller, or not the base Maker's Mark, but like a high proof Maker's Mark, like a single barrel, or some shit like that. But it is good. I will say that. But I just don't know what he paid for it. If he paid MSRP for it, then it was a great buy. If he paid over that, then I think there's a bunch of stuff that can challenge that. As a matter of fact, I got some Weller still left over. If I'd have known you were going to bring it up, I'd have tasted it real quick here and done a quick review. All right, 412. When are you? Because this right here is like three roses. When are you leaving out again, Lyle? 412. I am leaving out on the. I might get to the truck on the 4th. Maybe the 4th or 5th, leaving either on the 5th or 6th. I'm not sure. Almost every company that gets office staff based on degrees and not industry experience have issues. Well, I wouldn't say that the people that are working in-house at Prime have like I wouldn't look at them and be like, these guys went to Michigan State. I mean, you have a lot of Missouri states, like a lot of lower level colleges and shit. So I mean, I don't think they're like pulling like that. I mean, they may have degrees, but it's not like, it's not like if you look on the website, they'll say what colleges they went to, and they're not like, major colleges or anything like you ain't got nobody at Stanford rolling up at Prime, or even like a CU, or you just don't have that. You have a lot of small town college type people that are there. Tyree, you said Penelope was good. I think it was very good. I got the Penelope toasted. I got the heavy charred bottle of that, and I think that was one of my, of all the bottles I think that I've thought about and I said, they're exceptional, that's one of them. I'm going to throw wild turkey rare breed into that. And damn, what else have I had? Drawing a blank. The Old Forester, I think for the price for their bottled and bond is a good one. I think in economics, you can't go with Wild Turkey 101, Old Granddad 114, and Evan Williams bottled and bond also, and Benchmark bottled and bond I think is good. Now the only reason I even drink a lot of this higher quality shit is because I don't drink that much now that I'm on the road. So when I come home, I'm trying to step it up a bit. So if I was home 100% of the time, I would not be drinking like I probably wouldn't be drinking those $60, $70 bottle, $80, 100, it would probably be on the lower end because I'd be doing it more often. But when I come home off the road for not drinking for like 8 weeks or 6 weeks or five, whatever it is, then I feel like, let me just get something that's like worth it. My son bought some stuff that was like really good last time I came home. I forgot what that was. Man, I forgot. Terry saw the writing was on the wall. Okay, so Terry came in to Prime under me, right? The funny thing about it was I was just talking to my fleet manager. I don't think my fleet manager had anything wrong with him in general. It was the heat that was getting brought down on my fleet manager by what he was posting. So, there are a couple other people that have came in under me, and I was just in there talking to my fleet manager a few weeks ago, and he's like, "Yeah, I'd like to thank you for," because there was a girl that had left and came back, and she's like, "Yeah, I'd like to thank you for, Brandy and Craig, not so much for Terry." So I think again, I'm about self-preservation, and it is a relationship business, so I'm not gonna put myself in a position where I'm not gonna where I'm gonna put myself in the most favorable light out there. I'm not trying to be a martyr. I'm not trying to be Malcolm X when it comes to this shit. There's things I don't like. There's things I see I don't like, but I don't want to put myself in the position where that's fucking up my money. You understand? All right, Johnny B, what's up? And as we know, the safety department at any company isn't staffed with anybody who's drove a truck. All right, I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to go any deeper. I just think that sometimes the message that was sent out was a little condescending, and I think that they got checked enough by drivers leaving that they kind of softened that approach up a little bit. So I did plan on cutting my hair today, but me and my wife are going to be going out. She's going to be taking me, either way, we're getting some sushi later on. So I'll probably get it done after that. I might do it before that because this is getting a little rough to be at home. But let's see. I tell people all the time, if you company to my, wait. I tell people all the time, if you come to my company, don't tell them I sent you because I don't know how you roll. Man, I don't mind if anybody comes here. What I do try to do is talk to them before they come here. I just got off the phone with somebody that was thinking about coming to Prime that is about 3 weeks away. And I, answered his questions, told him what my experience was out of this and what I thought some of the problems were with it. And he spoke with a number of different people at Prime. So I I'm not talking to people, for listen, I'm not turning down no free money, but I'm not, not talking to somebody because they're not going to use me as a referral or anything like that. Because generally I like building. To me, what's more important, well, to some extent, is having a network of people. Like, my network is so fucking strong, and there's people that have better networks, but I mean, it's so strong in terms of certain in-house people that I don't, put out there, drivers, all this kind of stuff. That is more important to me than just somebody saying, I'll come into Prime and use your referral code. Like I said, if they do, that's great. But I've never pushed that as a reason to talk to or not talk to anybody. I've mentioned it before. If you want to talk about anything, Prime, whatever, email is pretty much into the strict. Well, it's not hard to find. It's in the videos or past videos or whatever. All you got to do is email me. And it doesn't have to be about Prime. It could just be, about whatever. All right. You cooking anything special for the New Year's? I'm doing a few. Racks of ribs. I'm probably going to have to wait till next time. I've kind of been doing shit this time I've been out here. I still, not as much shit as I should be doing, but probably next time I come back, once I get everything cleared out, I had a junk hauler come by and haul out, a bunch of shit. Smokers I wasn't using, old refrigerators, random shit. Once I get this place kind of where I want to, then I'll probably start getting to that. But I can't even think about it right now. But if I was to do it, it would be a big old rack of ribs, like the big fat ones that are like that thick with the bones that are like that. Matthews heading to orientation on Monday. If you're a new driver, it's a lot easier than drivers that have experience. Prime, you could talk to Terry at Tim Travels. If he's in here right now, or anybody that came over to Prime with experience, that's a bit harder to. They don't really walk you through that process quite as easy as I think they should. All right. Johnny B, I'm 2 years away. I'm a winner. I'll be using you if you're still there. I should still be here. Now, I'm not saying Prime has been on the edge about some things that have been trying to kind of push me out. I still haven't found a reason to go yet, but they've kind of been pushing that just a little bit with some of, not even some of the programs, with some of the messaging they've been doing. If you don't like the camera, then maybe you need to think about an exit strategy. I think too many people took them up on that, and then they softened that approach a little bit. But just some of the, stay if you want, leave if you want, we don't care either way kind of attitude is that's got a little bit too crazy lately. Tyree, you get rid of the car yet? I certainly did, man. I had somebody come and pick up that car last week. He's a mechanic for BMW and Mercedes, and he came and picked it up. So I think the average person would have spent too much money to get that back on the road, but as a mechanic, that sweat equity probably made a lot of sense for him to do. All right. Oh, Jada, whatever, MMA. Hey, nice to see the live again. What's up? 412. I've been off long as hell and didn't accomplish anything. I just been super lazy. That is me too. A misfit flatbedder. Quit that shit right there. Definitely don't do that. Misfit flatbedder is a driver who paid off her lease purchase at Prime as well, and she is in the flatbed division. So go check her out. She definitely gives a different. She's a real YouTuber, should I say? I don't do YouTube shit. I feel too self-conscious walking around. Hey, I'm out here, at the fuel pump. Get me. I feel self-conscious about that. So I'll never be that guy. But and she doesn't necessarily. She doesn't do it that obviously. But there are YouTubers at Prime, and there's people like me that just get on and kind of talk. She's kind of a mix between those two, and it's good to see a female flatbedder out there because here's the value of that. I came to Prime because a female reefer person, and the reason that I did that was because. So, for example, if I'm a guy and I'm thinking about coming to trucking, and I see a female out there doing it, then I'm like, okay, I could do it. In my case, it was more like I felt like I had to know about trucks and all this kind of stuff and no maintenance, all this like fixing shit and everything. And there was a female YouTuber, those of you old school people, was Trucker Nene. Was she openly said, I don't know anything about fixing anything. I don't know anything about trucks, but I'm making all the money and all this kind of stuff. So in the similar way, a female tucking flatbed I can see doing the same thing. Shamarcus out there shopping for expensive shit. Go check out his videos. He's out there looking at like I forgot the Rolls Royces and fucking Bentley, whatever it was. I don't even remember now. All right, 412 is ashamed he's been lazy. Man, me too. I'm just telling you. I'll be thinking about that shit when I'm back on the road. That's exactly what I'm talking about, man. As soon as I get back on the road, I'm like, man, I should have done this. I should have done that. Misfit Flatbedder is crazy ass female, bro. She's out here like bungee jumping. I think she's about to go out to Las Vegas for the New Year, as a matter of fact. Tyree saying it's all right. So we work hard when we're on the road. When you get home, you don't want to do anything. It's a little bit of that, and then I've been sick kind of a little bit for the last like 3 or 4 days. Not really sick. My wife's been sick more than I have, but that's kind of made me a little less prone to want to do some stuff. All right, Misfit Flatbedder. I don't do that stuff. That's them drivers doing them fake pre-trips and fueling. Listen, I'm just gonna keep it real. If we're like minus temperatures, I'm not even. I feel guilty about even logging a pre-trip because listen, minus 30 something degrees. I'm just gonna assume that shit's good to go sometime. All right, K-Mac hey, that's a good Loves. He's chilling at the Loves in Brush, Colorado, getting blown away by this damn wind. Hey, it's not quite windy out here at my house. I'm probably about 60 miles west of you. Now, listen, I do all my pre-trips, okay? That being said, understand what I'm saying. Fluid levels is definitely something that I'm going to be concerned about. All right, let's see. Man, I'm low-key over this truck driving shit, though. My trailer almost paid off. My truck almost paid off. If the market doesn't seem to get better, I'm going to cash out. Man, somebody came over to my house to remove this junk the other day. $800 to move this shit out, right? So I'm talking to the guy. And I'm trying to get a grasp on what the business is like. I'm like, how busy? are you guys? He's like, man, we're busy like all day long. And I'm talking to him. So immediately I go look up the cost of like one of them Isuzu trash hauling trucks that has the dump feature on it and everything. $34,000 to buy that truck. Now I'm just keeping that in the back of my head. I talked to the guy a little bit, and I said, you know what? Don't be surprised, because he was like wanting to buy my Dodge Ram and all this other shit. And, we were talking about the trash hauling shit, and I was like, don't be surprised if I get with you. I don't know when. It could be 2 years, it could be 5, it could be never. But I'm not looking for no employees. I'm looking for business partners. And that looked like a easy business, easy money right there. And I'm not talking about no franchise shit. We get out people, some salespeople, like, I could sell it, whatever. But I don't need no fucking franchise agreement with 800 got trunk. I use Junk King, but I don't need no franchise agreement for that shit. All right, let's see. I'm just saying the company let somebody else pay for this stuff. I hear you keep grinding 412, get it paid for. What's company? All right, the driver shit gets old. Then you're ready to go because back out. All right. It's a love-hate relationship. Trucking is a love-hate relationship, and I am in no hurry to get out. I'm telling you, if it wasn't for Prime policy, I would be off for another 30 days minimum. Should I? Yep, 412. We definitely do. We all do pre-trips and all that shit. All right. I think flatbed's different. I'm just gonna make. Well, I'm not gonna get into that anyway. Yeah, naturally created. Yo, what's up, Tyree? 15 degrees is the breaking point of getting out and doing that pre-trip or not. Man, I hear you. There was a time. Man, I forget where I was at. I think I might have been in Rawlings, Wyoming, and I was running through coolant at that time, and I needed to get some in. So I was gonna. I wanted to stop for about an hour and because I was still driving, and let the engine kind of cool down a little bit before I opened up that radiator cap. And man, it was probably minus 10 degrees and blowing, and it took everything I could to get that fucking coolant in that truck. And Peterbilt's is a little bit harder because you got to pour that shit a lot slower. So what should have taken, and I'm talking about the new Peterbilts, like the 22s and newer. The older ones, you could just dump it in there, seal it up, and roll. These newer ones, it's a little bit slower. Man, I could not get that shit done fast enough. There used to be this show on CNBC called Blue Collar Millionaires or something. Man, there's definitely big money in those trash hauling companies. Man, I don't need to be rich. I just need to like make a little bit of money. I don't need to do shit when I'm retired that I'm not doing now. I don't need to be. I want the least amount of exposure possible. Like, there's a friend of mine, right? I was just at my boy's house yesterday, and he doesn't have to worry about the same shit. He's like really rolling. But his brother bought some land from a guy that won the lottery like 16 years ago, and he doesn't have to pay on the land until he starts like generating business. So it's on I-70 and like 470 in Colorado. He wants to make it an RV truck wash thing. And I'm just like, man, that is a lot of fucking exposure. I mean, the only thing that doesn't make him exposed is he doesn't have to pay on the land like a traditional person would. But I'm just like, how much fucking, like, he's already in other shit. Like, I'm not trying to expose myself like that any further. Anyway, all right, so All right, I had somebody. All right, let's see. Damn, I'm way behind, and this isn't the easiest way to check these comments. There used to be. All right, we already went through that. All right, it's a habit for me. It doesn't matter the weather or what. I'm gonna walk around my truck every morning. I'm gonna need to call him a hero right quick. I had somebody cut my straps before. Okay, flatbed, one thing. Okay, and I had all my tarps stolen when I was in the shower at a pilot in Tulsa. Okay, that's a sorry person to do that, said Miss Flatbedder. Do trucks have issues cranking in those temps, or do you let it stay idle? Usually, unless it's below zero, I'm gonna just let my APU do its thing. If it gets below that, I'll probably run it all night, or at least start it and stop it throughout the night. So I might start my truck and then set an alarm to go off in 3 hours, start it again, run it. But if I do idle it, usually I'm gonna set my idle at like 850 RPMs, maybe 900. Well, I will tell you one thing. That battery box I bought wasn't worth a shit. It might work if a truck is kind of the batteries are going out, but that shit did not start my truck the other day. All right, I tell you what's going to test you in the mornings is when you get out and feel that cold in your hands down to the bones. Absolutely. It could be a hurricane. I mean, at least walk around the truck. 412 is a real driver right there. One, all right, one, that's how I feel. Having them expensive crap keeps you walking forever. Shout out to the Prime family. What's up? Misfit Flatbedder had a load of PVC pipe, and thank God it wasn't like a million pieces high. I did my walk around, and literally every strap was sliced with a knife. I'm checking oil and coolant because those Pete's drink a little bit more in cold temps. Peterbilts definitely go through coolant in cold temps. Oil pressure, I think, or oil is kind of dependent on the truck more than anything. I've had trucks that go through it and trucks that don't on the oil. I don't even know why somebody would have done it. All right, he's talking about cutting his straps. People are just jerks and weirdos out here. All right, definitely ain't popping my hood unless I have to. Maybe if I'm on a 34, but usually I'm home every weekend, so like once a week. All right. Little dude from across the street, what's the real reason Prime acquired TransAm? Is it because so many drivers are leaving? Little dude from across the street, I get the everybody hates Chris reference. One of my favorite TV shows, Little Dude from Across the Street, give me $1. I think it could be a number of different reasons. I think they did it for that reason, and I think they did it because when the new bidding season comes, they're going to probably be able to raise up some of those bids that TransAm had on some of their lower freight, and they might be able to get, I don't know. I don't even want to speculate, but I think I haven't had an issue with that. I don't think I'm going to have an issue with that, but that's probably why. And like I said, we have new leadership or whatever at Prime. Now it seems to be all about the money. Now they're trying to charge more money for deductibles and all this other kind of stuff. We'll see. We will see what the direction is going, but it does seem to be more about the money at Prime. So I don't know. Which is fine because hey, as soon as you make everything about the money, I make everything about the money. And you know what that means? I don't do shit I don't want to do. Is willingly. K-Max says it's 22 Pete drinks oil and coolant. I don't know what year your Peterbilt is. Make sure, I don't know if you're doing a regular lease or lease purchase, but if I was doing a lease purchase for sure, before that truck is out of warranty, I'm taking that to the dealership and telling them to find anything they can. Is it possible to take home six figures after take home while leasing? Absolutely. And I'm not saying that is like a fucking, I don't care if you believe me or not. I've never, ever, ever complained about the money at Prime. Now, what I will say is it possible if you take, it depends on your home time. But when you're out every week, there's a certain amount of money I like to make every week, and I tend to make that. Now, I can't really, the problem is the last 2 years I ran as a fleet. So it's hard for me to really judge it as good as I can now. But even now, once my truck is paid off, then that changes the equation. So now I'm looking at an extra $60,000 a year that I don't have to pay on a truck. So I can't give that as easy as somebody else has. But I've never complained about the fucking money. I think they're just gonna buy TransAm. I heard it's a rumor TransAm has sold most of their trailers. I don't want to be one to. I don't feel like I need to be the first one out there to say anything. You might be right, Tyree. Imagine Prime charging $16.50 a week for a truck. What I will say, little dude from across the street, is do a lease purchase, man. I just either paid off or gonna pay off next week my lease purchase, and let's just say I run that lease purchase for 4 years without a payment. That's $240,000 right there. I don't think there's a problem with doing a regular lease at Prime, but I don't think that's a good decision if you have the ability to do a lease purchase, if that makes sense. So do a lease if you need to, but if you have the money and you're able to think past tomorrow, because that's the problem with truck drivers. Us motherfuckers, well, not us. Some of y'all motherfuckers don't look past next Friday. So if you could look 3 years in the future, even a year and a half in the future, lease purchase, get the truck, get paid off. And if you don't pay it off, at least get it halfway paid off, refinance it, go somewhere else, whatever. Night Ranger, how did the floor in my bathroom come out? My wife's been sick, so she hasn't been working on that lately. Did your family ever convince you to go bowling? I was lucky enough to where that wasn't even an issue right there. The bowling did not come up. I think it was, I don't even remember why they didn't, but.
Because it was crazy expensive when we went.
Okay, I guess
it determined it was because it was Christmas Day.
It was okay, so we didn't go bowling because it was too much money on Christmas. Thank the Lord for Christmas. All right, how long do you have to wait until you can get into lease purchase compared to just normal lease? I've known people to just jump right in. I know that's not the policy, but typically if you're going to lease purchase, you're going to want to order your truck, right? So most people that have done it have leased a truck and then gone 6 months and ordered the truck and then done that way. I do know people that have done lease purchase just straight out of training, straight out of, coming to Prime, that have done it right off the bat and picked a truck that was on the lot, brand new truck, whatever, and did it like that. Prime is always changing shit, so you never fucking know. But I would say 6 months is what their policy is. But I know that's not the case. Shamarcus got me bowling now. Yeah, I'm not about. Hey, Shamarcus, he's one of them like country boys, man. He's out there fucking around and snakes, and I ain't doing that. Go check him out. He's out there buying drop yards. He has a little mini fleet at Prime, buying drop yards and all that kind of shit. So go look at him. Go check out his YouTube channel. I have nothing against Prime. Got my CDL from Prime, but there is no way I'm going to be paying on a truck every week with the camera in the truck and they trying to spy on drivers. I will 100% agree with that, but what I'm saying is that lease purchase is so good, man. I'm just saying. So I think it's bullshit. Okay, I'm gonna just say that right now. So I am in agreement with you, but sometimes you gotta take the shit with the good stuff. $1 billion company worried about paying for insurance. Yeah. Hey, I cannot like agree with you more in this shit. As a matter of fact, I would agree with you even more if I wasn't on YouTube right now. Slime Pizzle, Slime Pack, what's up? She's actually the superstar at Prime. Her and you see my little clickbait video I put up there for you? I'm going broke. Slime Pack's not too egregious with her titles, but Slime Pack is definitely a real YouTuber right there. She's out there with, like, listen, I don't even know how she does it. It would be different if she was a shitty truck driver and I could say, okay, she's like a shitty truck driver, so she's able to find time to do all this stuff. I don't know how you find time to set up all these different fucking cameras and do all this kind of stuff and then edit it and then be on time. And I couldn't do it. So I got all the respect in the world for people like Slime Pack actually putting it down, and a good driver. And I can tell how good a driver is going to be if they have a YouTube video based on some of the shit they talk about and how they kind of think through things. And she's definitely good at doing that. It's supposed to be 90 to order a new truck, but they've been tricking people with completion bonuses. I know people that came straight to Prime and did a lease purchase, and I know people that came straight out of training and did a lease purchase. And it was just like, you know what, you got the money, you know what, let's roll. Okay, I've had my CDL for over 3 years, but never OTR. Is Prime still requiring drivers to do the TN2? Yep, that is another thing I don't agree with. But yeah, you're going to have to do that 30,000 miles. Personally, I do think if you haven't been delivering to some of our customers, I might say go out for 2 weeks just to kind of refreshen you up with kind of how we do. Because here's the problem. Prime throws you to the wolves. If you're coming to the company with experience, over the road experience, they throw you to the wolves and expect you to figure some of this stuff out. So just those 2 weeks alone would allow you to understand the Prime way. And so you're not struggling through that period like a lot of people with experience go through. So I'd say 10,000 miles. I'd do that, or 2 weeks, whatever. If you get your own authority and own insurance, can you take the camera out of your truck? Yes, you can. And you would be on the A fleet. So you'd be, so you can do that. I'm not willing to do that. Slime Pack, no sir. I don't know what that no sir is about, but Slime Pack, boy. I just saw a video of her, man. You'd have thought she was like Whitney Houston or some shit walking through the terminal. But those of you guys just came in, I'm not going broke, because I haven't got a settlement in 3 weeks. I just put that up there kind of as a clickbait. I haven't got paid in 3 weeks because I've been chilling for 3 weeks. So that's about it. Hold on, I might go offline for a second. Okay, somebody texted me that I spoke with earlier about Prime saying, thanks for the information. I'm all about the information. Slime Pack says she's not a celebrity. Okay. That's why you get to walk through the terminal and everybody's taking selfies with you. Now, I do have people stopping me at the terminal talking about, this and that, but it's not like people are like really excited to see me. It's not like, oh God, it's just like, hey, here's a couple questions, blah, blah, whatever, or let's talk. But, it seemed like motherfuckers were starstruck to see your ass, to be honest with you. All right, they don't have critical events anymore, do they? Shamarks, I have no idea. If you had the ballpark range, how long do you figure 30,000 miles would take? With that being said, I'm used to 14 hours a day. That depends on the trainer, so and the time. So I can't really speak on that. When I was training, I would say that most of my students we ran at like 6,000 miles a week. So 6 times 5 is 30. So it was usually like 5 weeks, four. Well, some I did one like super fast, but that was just because that was how freight was. But I'd say 4.5 to 5 weeks. If you now you have some trainers that want to they ain't about that running. They might be the best trainer in the world, but they ain't about that life. So they might be a little slower paced, which you don't need the training, so that's probably not what you'd want. But then you have some people that are just runners, they knock it out. And then, the market, I don't know what the team market's like right now, so I don't know. All right. When truck paid off 3 weeks, slaps on wrist. I don't know what that is. When truck paid off 3 weeks is slaps on wrist. I'm not sure. Clarify that, JVC. Yeah, I've had my CDL and driving local for 30 years, and they still want me to do TNT, but only 15,000 miles. 15,000, I think, would be here's the thing. Take a long-term view on it, right? I think 15,000 miles is a bit much, but there are certain processes that Prime has, some that are valuable, some that are just dumb, that you need to learn. And I think 0 miles, because I've known several people that have came and done 0 miles, and I felt like I was training them, myself over the road, talking them through everything. So 0 is not enough miles. 15,000 might be a bit much. I just think 2 weeks would be a good round amount, regardless of miles and all that. I'm shocked by Busy Blake is leaving Prime. Dude literally swore by Prime. Now you don't hear anything from him. I don't want to speak on him. I think there's a bit more going on to that than Prime. A little, so if you watch, man, I don't even. Okay, I've watched some of his videos, and I just feel like there's a little more going on with that whole situation. So again, I've never fucking complained about the money at Prime. Never. I've had complaints about Prime. Money has never been the complaint. Anything above my fleet manager or anything below my fleet manager and below has never been my complaints with Prime. So read into that how you want to read into it. Oh, but let's take a look at this shirt my wife made. Hold on. I don't know if you can see that. She didn't make the shirt, but you see the little Wu-Tang thing with the USMC kind of in the thing right there. That's some good shit right there. Wu-Tang is for the children. All right. Johnny B. Yep, I totally agree. I need to know procedures and lanes so it's not a bad thing. And again, this is coming from somebody I did when I came through Prime, 30,000 miles was the benchmark. I did closer to 140,000 miles on my trainer's truck. So I'm about that measure twice, cut once type thing. The last thing I wanted to do was get out on the road and not understand how to do my job. So to me, it didn't matter. I thought long term, wasn't concerned with it because I spent from April till November training. And I did have, my first trainer was bullshit. I've spoke about that. Filthy, didn't know shit, all that. My second trainer, young gunner, 24 years old. Like, it was actually fucking fun. Like, training with him was fun. And that's the reason I stayed that long. $15K is like a month in miles. Yeah, so 6 times that's like 3 weeks, depending on what freight lanes you get into, whatever. Like I said, I was doing 6,000 miles a week minimum. Well, let me not say minimum. Let's just say if I talked to a student, he was like, "How long is it going to be?" I based it on 5,000 miles a week, but it was probably closer to 6,500 a week. But maybe a little bit. I mean, we did have short weeks, but then we had weeks. We had 3,000-mile weeks, and then we had, you know, 6,000. 6,500. I mean, it was all over the board. Well, it wasn't all over the board, but I had short weeks that were less than, you know, less than 5,000. I had some that were above 5,000. A lot of trainers at Prime don't. Okay. So now they're allowing drivers to come train at Prime that have 6-month experience. I don't think the average driver really can master, and I'm not talking about understand their logs. I'm talking about master their logs in 6 months of driving solo, right? So now you're going to say, okay, now I'm going to go train somebody. Mastering a solo clock and mastering a team clock with rolling resets and all this kind of stuff, 2 totally different things. So I think you have some drivers that cap themselves on miles that are like the easiest way I could do it was you run your clock out, I run my clock out. Now there's going to be a chance for you to get a roll and reset. There might be times when you have to run 2 shifts in a row, not like consecutive, but you ended a shift, we took a 10-hour break at a customer or whatever, then you begin the next shift, you got a 34. A lot of people don't even think about that shit training. All right, anyway. Best to not think about the miles, just enjoy it and have fun. I was able to do that because my trainer was like, we were like cracking up. Are the flying facilities as nice as they? I'm assuming that was Prime. Secondly, are you allowed to keep a small camper hooked up? Hold on. Hooked up to your personal truck in long-term parking. I don't know about the long-term parking situation. I'm in Denver. I do think, okay, so the Denver yard or the Denver yard is now the Navajo yard in Denver. I did see they might have long-term parking. I'm not going to park there. I don't know about Springfield or any of that kind of stuff, so I don't know if you could hook up a trailer and leave it there or not. I think they can be a little bit kind of Nazis at the Springfield terminal, like unlike other places. So I don't like if your registration's out or whatever, or if your tire looks flat, I don't know. I wouldn't trust my truck at a Springfield terminal. Denver, I would if it wasn't the Navajo yard the way it is now, but I don't know. I wouldn't do it. Let me just put it that way. Their facilities are as nice as they seem, but I would rather have less nice facilities and more drop yards. So meaning the facilities being nice ain't for the driver. They can say that shit all they want, but the facilities at Prime are for the in-house staff. As soon as you miscalculate that, then or as soon as you think it's different, then it's not for you. It's a convenience that you can have, but I'd say that the showers, I even saw in-house people using the showers. We had a line of, I don't even want to talk about this. I'm about to get mad. There was a line of drivers waiting for the showers one day, and I'm not even going to say what department they were in, but I saw people from that department leaving the shower while there was a line of drivers waiting for a shower. Those facilities are not for you. So they're nice Enjoy them while you're there, but if you enjoy them too much, you're not making any money. I had to stay on my trainer's truck for an extra 3 months because of COVID. They could not get trucks in. COVID was such a beautiful time. Driving without having to worry about any traffic. Oh man, that was a great time. You can't learn that clock in 6. It took me a year to mastermind and still suck at splits. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's knowing your clock and really understanding your clock. And I think that this is going to sound stupid, but I think that when I first got out on my own, I looked at the clock like two-dimensionally, like in 2D. And then there was a moment that it clicked and it was almost like 3D, where I could see everything in 3 dimensions and understand exactly how I was going to run it. And there were loads that I took now that I wouldn't take before because I didn't know that I could actually run the load. I mean, it's a lot of getting used to. But then again, it would suck to get out there and lease or lease purchase and end up getting yourself into a bind. I can drive the truck. Yeah. So do not get me wrong. Okay, so you have people, you pick a YouTube content creator, you've seen some shit that they don't like or don't agree with the company. There's a guy that left and went to Swift. He was a trainer, and at some point I got to place the blame on somebody else. That guy, there's no way he was making as little money as he was making if he knew what the fuck he was doing. I forgot his name. Now T News, I appreciate him because he took a stand I couldn't take. You know what I'm saying? I still got to do what I got to do. But T News went out there and stood on game and left Prime because of the cameras. So I gotta give props for those people. So he's out enjoying Landstar. I just saw him working on his truck today, putting new stickers on and all that kind of stuff. Hey, we need more of you out there. I just can't. Hey, I can't get to the promised land with you, but I maybe can just stop just short. Three months ago, I learned you can run and the recaps will add to your 14 while your clock runs constantly. Yeah, there's a lot to learn out there as far as that clock goes, but I built a good relationship with my current logs advisor. All right, let's not talk about my current logs advisor. My old logs advisor left Prime after 23 years. She got replaced by a guy that's in like a lot of these Prime meetings and stuff like that. And I don't have a problem with him. I mean, I don't know him or anything like that. I haven't even talked to him, but the way I look at it is, and I'm old school, so I'm going to say some shit that's going to, that's like, there's a need for male nurses out there. But remember in that Meet the Parents thing when Robert De Niro's talking about, Ben Stiller, and he's like, yeah, he's a nurse, a male nurse. My logs advisor's a guy right now, and it's just, there's just certain things, I don't know. So anyway, I haven't really built a relationship with him, but when I first got to Prime, my logs advisor, her name was Debbie Small, built a good relationship with her, and that was she's what kind of trained me up. Like, I use the people that are there for me to use. So I would call her, hey, here's my thing. Am I looking at this right? Or what, blah, blah. And that's kind of how we did it. And I'm not saying that this new guy that's a logs advisor is not that good, but, All right, Knight Rider. How did Prime acquire the Navajo yard? Did Navajo go out of business in Denver? I don't know what the situation was. Navajo's still there. They're running it. I don't know if Prime bought space in that yard or what. I'd heard rumors a long time ago before this TransAm thing went out, because when I go to the terminal, I sit and listen to those conversations that are around me. If I see fleet managers talking to fleet managers, or I see like all these random conversations, whether it's like whoever, I'm not even gonna say who, I sit and listen. I don't act like I'm listening. I look the other way or do whatever, but I get a lot of game like that. So I heard there was like something going down 3 months before what happened at TransAm. I thought it was Navajo, because soon after I heard that conversation, Navajo became our drop yard. So I thought Navajo was the company we were merging with or doing whatever we did with Trans. I thought that was it. But I don't know. Navajo's still running the yard. They're pretty tight on how they run the yard. Like, you can't drive a personal vehicle onto the yard. So my battery was dead in my truck, and my little fucking battery charger I bought did not charge that thing up. I think maybe I did it wrong. Maybe I should have just charged it enough for the APU to start like T-News did, and then kind of go that route. But by that time, I'd already ran through too much of the fucking charger. So I had to, I drove up to the guard shack and I was like, hey, can I drive on the yard? I need to jump my truck. And he's like, where's your truck and all this kind of stuff. And I'd like pointed it. They do not like personal cars on that yard like the other Denver yard. So they're in full control of that. I haven't gone inside yet. It looks like they have recliners, maybe a shower, TV, coffee, all that. But that's not my yard, so I don't go in there. All right, Johnny B. Seen many failed YouTubers or prime YouTubers over the years. A lot of those people are just dumb, okay? A lot of those people just were dumb. Okay, let's just say what it is. Some of those people actually did good, but their personal life was way out of whack. Like, they had no financial, like, stability or vision or anything. I know of a couple people that they failed because of their financial shit or whatever. Some people's luck of the draw. Some people it's bad decisions. Richie Rich, I don't think made a bad decision. I think he trusted his future in a driver that wasn't quite as worried about his financial future as him. So I think, well, in his case, it wasn't his solo career that ended his career at prime. It was having somebody drive for him at prime. But I would say that if you took the average person at YouTube that does videos that last longer than 6 months, those typically are going to do better than your typical drivers. And I'm not saying that because they're YouTubers, they get better freight. It's because you're held to a higher standard by yourself. Me just having that no hippie shit on the side of my truck makes me understand if I'm going to be backing into a place at a fucking truck stop, I got to come with my A game because everybody's out with a fucking camera. It's like more high profile. It's more all that shit. You know what I mean? Just everything is more heightened when you're out there doing that shit. So I would say the average YouTuber is better than the average regular driver at prime, just based on that. Just based on the pressure of having, like, I'm not even as bad as like Slime Pack. Slime Pack, I mean, that's immense pressure. I mean, one thing I will say is if I was to get another truck, like if I ever get another truck, that name on the side of your truck, if it's that obvious, especially if you're on YouTube, that right there is pressure that a lot of people don't have that pressure. And even just regular prime drivers that have like other I mean, there's pressure along with that too, because it's so noticeable. So Let me check my battery right quick. So that pressure is so noticeable that it makes you better. And because I would say the mentality of most people that have YouTube channels, we're, as a whole, typically more gregarious. We talk to more people. So we're picking up more game per every hour out on the road than most people because we're not in this shelter. We're not locked into this truck where we don't talk to anybody. We usually are the type of people that are going to develop relationships inside of Prime that most people aren't. Or in trucking, I know people that aren't even at Prime that I talk to. So we do shit that normal drivers don't do. I'm going to say that. Now, there are normal drivers that do that, but I'm going to say the average person at YouTube that's out there develops more of those relationships, is more conscious about things. Now, Slime Pack, she's just known out there for who she is, but that truck don't say Slime Pack on it. If I'm backing in somewhere, I'm not that known out there as Slime Pack, but they do see that no hippie out there, and there is nothing more than anybody want to see than one of them trucks with that shit on the side to do some dumb shit in a truck stop to film. All right, Slime got no choice but to one shot. Slime Pack ain't got that name on the side of the truck, though. And I definitely wouldn't put no hippie trucking YouTube on the side of my truck. That's definitely not some pressure I want. All right, the geotab is difficult to learn and how to edit your logs. I thoroughly understand how to edit my logs in the Qualcomm. Me too. Now it's a nightmare. Even the logs is struggling with it. Confusing. I don't know about that shit either. And I haven't really worked with the geotab yet. I deadheaded home from Springfield. And then I drove from the Navajo terminal to my house yesterday. That's it. I don't know anything about it. Now, if I will be I will be leaning on my logs guy and with issues I have with it. And if he has a problem with it, I will let him know. Maybe a female might have been able to handle this a little bit better. Because Debbie was the shit. I'm gonna tell you, if anybody in here had Debbie as a logs advisor, she was the shit. All right, I remember when Junior went through that, people were calling him out on Facebook for parking in the pump area. That was toxic. And most of the time, that wasn't Junior's truck. That was one of his driver's trucks that were out there doing that shit. So it wasn't even him. All right. Tyree saying that she got that distinctive red Pete. Man, there's a ton of people at at Prime that got that red. But hey, I don't know what Slime Pack's long-term situation is. But I'm sure maybe if she gets another lease, or I would suggest if you're gonna stay in trucking or whatever, get that lease purchase, boy. I'm sure she'll put that Slime Pack on the side of. She'll probably get that lime green with the Slime Pack on the side, and that's gonna up that game a little bit. Just letting you know. But I just don't know how she does it. She's out there starching her clothes like she's fucking Vato from South Central Las Vegas or South Central LA. So she's doing all that editing. Walking around with the camera, and I don't know where she finds the time. All right. I'm in Pueblo, Colorado. Can you suggest some companies that have dry freight around the area for me to get to Phoenix and Arizona? I would try Trekker. Trekker. All right, Slime Pack says no lime green. I have another color in mind. I would hope the Slime Pack doesn't outgrow Prime. I think I think hey, Slimepack, I'm just gonna tell you, I don't know what your thoughts are and all that kind of stuff. Man, get you a lease purchase, thug that shit out, pay it off in 3 years or do a year and a half and finance it with your own money and do whatever, but that lease purchase is too fucking good. But unless you want to go home, I'm surprised young people like you can actually stay out like this. So that's another thing to think about. Especially if you're out there at them car meets. The only thing I like about car meets is get back or get smacked. If nobody's getting hit at car meets, I don't even want to look at that shit on. Like, that's all I look at on, like, Instagram is people getting hit at them car meets. I'm not there for the cars. I'm there for the destruction. I wish I had her YouTube drive. All right, let's see. I wish I had her YouTube drive. I'd be about, let me, yeah, shit, Slimepack is all about that. Like I said, I don't know how she does it. I don't, so. Well, fuck, I'm not 20-something years old either. That's a difference, too. Shit. Fucking young people could do a bunch of shit. I could probably done the shit when I was young. What it's like to be young and fucking naive. All right, then Slime said one of her videos, inverter was out, so she doing all that. Yeah, lighter, man. Okay. So her inverter was out, so she was doing that on the lighter charger. I'll be honest with you. I take a computer on the road with me. I don't think I've maybe once opened it up on the road. Now I've done it if I got to a terminal or something like that, but I've never like actually like broke open my laptop to do anything. I just returned to Prime after 2 years away. I'm hopeful for my time here. Let's see how quick I can save this down payment for lease purchase. Man, I'm telling you, get that lease purchase. Like, some people I look and they've been at Prime for like 20 years and haven't like done a lease purchase. And everybody has their reasons, but like, think about this. If you do a 3-year lease, which let's say I just did a 3-year lease on a lease purchase or regular lease, let's say I get back 15 grand. Okay, compared to what I'm doing now. So right now, 15 grand is going to take me 3 months to get. 4 times 3, yeah, about 3 months to get with no truck payments. After that, it's all gravy. So if you're a regular lease guy and you come out of lease purchase, you get your, like, let's say 15 grand. And then let's say you want to stay in a regular lease. Let's say you want some upgrades. Let's say you don't want any upgrades. So you keep the 15 grand. Over the course of the next 4 years that I can keep my truck at Prime, that's $240 extra $1,000 that I'm going to make while you're getting $15,000 every 3 years. The math just doesn't add up if you really think about it. Everybody has their reasons, but I just don't see that mathematically making sense to me. And why would Prime do such a good deal? People in lease purchases stay longer at Prime than people in regular leases and stuff like that. That's the reason for it, because that's why they even allow it. Longevity. T-News, not having a payment is so much weight off your back. Absolutely. That's why I'm at home right now chilling. I'm on the flatbed side, but I plan on doing 3-year term on a lease purchase. Knock it out. I'm telling you. The best lease purchase in the game. Absolutely, without a doubt. I could go, if I was planning on doing this live on my laptop so I could show you the numbers on my lease purchase, but I can't do it because it's on this phone. The purchase price, the payments, the total with the payments over like the number, I mean, it's like it's no brainer. You cannot go get a truck at a dealership as good as you could buy a truck through Prime on that lease purchase when it's all said and done. And just like your boy Hanu Mankind said, I'm 10 toes on that one. Lexa, play Hanu Mankind.
Here's Big Dogs by Hanu Mankind and Call Me on Amazon Music.
We're about to get to it. Hold on. This is a catchy little jingle. I'm gonna have to shut it off because I don't want my shit to get copyrighted. Turn the volume up. Lexa, turn volume up.
Wait a minute, get it how you live it. 10 toes in when we standing on business. I'm a bitch.
All right, Lexa, turn off. Anyway, I'll stand 10 toes on that one. I don't want to get copyrighted on this one. All right, all right, homie, you know they not going to give you that full 15K back. I know people that got like way more back than 15 grand. And even when I turned in those trucks that I didn't complete the lease on, those lease purchases, I didn't get nickel and dimed on that. So, as a matter of fact, Christy was just in here. I know she's about to get 30 grand. I don't know how much you're going to take back out of that, but she's about to get broke off properly. All right. Building equity towards your truck is better than paying weekly pay. Wait. Man, these comments are coming. Is better than paying weekly payment for Prime and then give them back and sell it for 50K plus. Absolutely agree. No pay in 3 weeks. I'd be like, hey, I did that clickbait like your ass. I haven't got paid in 3 weeks because I haven't been out in 3 weeks. What's your advice for lease purchase on a used truck? I wouldn't do it personally. The lease purchase is so good on new trucks that I wouldn't consider it. I personally wouldn't consider it. I really wouldn't buy through Pedigree either, based on their sales prices and interest and mileage and all that kind of stuff. Like, you're shortening everything up. If you get a used lease purchase, you're shortening up the horizon that you can actually run that truck with no payments on it. You know what I mean? So that's why I wouldn't do it. And then, like, I would maybe find somebody, like I sold my truck to a guy, better price than he would be able to get through a dealer or through Pedigree used. The financing terms were a whole lot better than he would have been able to get through any bank. So, I mean, there's always people out there that are going to be able to do that. I don't think Pedigree is selling trucks for so much money. Like, I think it skews what people think their trucks are worth, when they actually go to sell them. So, lease purchase is nice for sure. The whole just leasing, I don't think the regular lease purchase at Prime is. I think there's other companies that are comparable. Let's put it that way. Because you're never going to own their truck, right? So you're going to get a big bonus at the end. But I think that let's keep it real. Most people aren't going to complete the lease purchase anyway. A lot of people coming to Prime, going to do a lease. They either get washed out on their own or they wash out because of business. They ain't going to complete it. So some of these other companies that might have payments that are $300 less a week or whatever that don't have the completion bonus, that might be better for most people out there. So I can see that. I did my one load for now, headed back home until after the 1st. That's what I'm talking about. Living that Landstar life. If you want to know about Landstar, go check out T News on YouTube. He has a channel out there. Just left Prime. If you want to see what life is like after Prime, that's the guy. They don't do lease purchase because they don't want to pay 14K down payment, so they'd rather keep paying off Prime trucks. Yeah, I don't get that one right there. Now, if I was a team truck or if I was a perpetual trainer, I don't think that teaming or training in a lease purchase truck makes a lot of sense. By the time you pay off a truck in 3 years, let's say that you're running, let's say over that course of time, let's say 550,000 miles. I mean, to me, that's not worth it. Paying off a truck with 550,000 miles on it, especially if you want to keep it in prime system. I don't know. I just don't. I don't get it. Johnny B saw 25 389 day cab for 285. Yeah. I'm more about the money than, like, there was a time when I was like, man, it'd be nice to have that truck. I want to at least do it one time before I leave. But if we're talking about business, a 389 is the worst business decision you can make. And anybody that complains about the freight market that's driving a 389 needs to shut the fuck up. T News, I'm about to get demonetized. Hey, I shut down that big stepper as quick as I could. I got 20K back on my lease completion. See, it's not a hoax. It's real money. I was out for 31 days, man. What you mean? Yeah. Peruvian. I was talking about your clickbait more than anything else. I will have been out probably close to 30 days when I get back. I'm not counting. I am counting the days it took for me to deadhead home from Colorado or from Springfield. I left Prime and trucking about a year and a half ago. How the freight market these days at Prime? For a bit, I was sitting too much, then found work at home. I've never had an issue with the money at Prime on my personal truck. Now, there was a time I was running multiple trucks, and then that I can't say the same thing about. But the revenue I've brought home on trucks I've ran on my own has always been good. I've never complained about that money ever. So I've been doing well as far as trucks I've driven. There's a bunch of shit to complain about Prime about. I'm not going to go into that. If you're at Prime and you want to mention specific names or specific departments, those are probably the people that I might be referring to. But as a whole, if it's about money, I don't have a problem with that. Give me just a second. Hey, what time is it?
1:48.
So you ready to leave it for?
Maybe.
Maybe or not.
I guess.
Are you well enough to go, or do you want to reschedule?
It's just coughing.
So you want to go?
Maybe not.
Do you or don't you? I don't want to hear no.
I really don't, because I told you I need to go to bed by 5:30.
All right, then we don't have to go.
Thank you.
Why didn't you just say it in the first
I
place?
told you that, but you didn't seem to hear it. So
You did not say I don't want to go.
I told you what time I had to go to bed.
What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Between 4:30 and 5:30, you're like, hey, let's go at 4. Okay, sounds great. I mean,
Okay. All right. Moto, I'm not even going to repeat that one because that's the last thing I need. T News. All right. Give me just a second. I'm probably going to go grab me some tacos later. What?
okay.
I'm not. Now, did you want me to get tacos for you too?
No, because I'm going to bed.
I'm going to. My wife's over here talking like she's special. I'm going to bed. All right. Anyway, what I have heard is that the chicken, the chicken nuggets at Taco Bell are the real deal. So if you guys are just wondering about chicken nuggets, my son went there and got those.
I was shocked. I was blown the fuck away.
All right, so there you go. That's one thing my wife is in agreement on.
Not expecting
I didn't
that.
eat them, but I heard the chicken nuggets at Taco Bell were the shit. Hold on a second. Maybe we can do the sushi tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm just trying to spend some time with my wife.
You could come lay down right here. Look, Frankie's laying down with me, so you could too.
Hey, you know, it'll be better when we get that little section in there. That's why I got it. That's the only reason I got that section was so we could
So
sit
we
like
could
we did,
snuggle.
like we could sit downstairs. That's the only reason I did it. Just so you know.
So we could snuggle.
Yeah, there you go. That's the only reason. And you won't believe that shit. All right, so let's see.
I do. I love you.
I love you.
act all grouchy, but you're a marshmallow.
All right, you guys always saying you didn't. Yep. All right. Sounds like okay. Yep. I don't want to say that one. All right, you put your foot down when you're gonna be in the doghouse. Man,
He's a marshmallow.
sleeping on the couch later. No, my wife's been sleeping on the couch because she's been sick.
I've been sleeping on the couch so I don't hack all night and keep him awake.
How's the inside cam treating you, bud? I left right before. Hey, I got that camera installed and I just came right home. I did not, so I haven't really driven with it yet. I've only been bobtail with that. Night Ranger, yep.
Your son.
Oh, wait, what did I walk into? Hey, Mr. Taco's truck, and I was going to go get some sushi later on, but apparently my wife needs to go to sleep a little bit too early. So I'm just looking at probably some. We got this taco place. Man, they make some fucking good ass tacos, but the problem is I like going to places and kind of sitting down, and this place, it's right by a high school, so they're kind of like, you got to pay at the like counter and do all this shit. So it's not like an experience like I'd like, but man, the tacos are so fucking good. I can't believe
It's
it.
only if they don't have a waitress, and a lot of times that.
All right. Well, whether they have a waitress or not, I'm not out there trying to dig into their fucking business plan, but it's like bullshit, like a lot of times. So, I'd go there more if it wasn't there. All right.
If you go at dinner.
Camera's got me quite a few times for yawning. Yeah, that's some dumb shit. What's a realistic rate per mile in today's marketed prime? I don't really look at it by rate per mile. I hear a lot of people, and what I'm hearing is lower than what I'm seeing. But listen, I've mentioned what I've made on shit before, and it's been a long time since I've done a bunch of consecutive weeks without multiple trucks, since I'm just down to my one truck. So maybe later I can give that. But like I said, I've never had a fucking problem. I would say for me, a 5,000 miles or $5,000 week is a low week. With the truck payment, I take $5,000, divide that by 2, that's $2,500. So that puts me between $2,200 and $2,600 or whatever in pay. That I think is very realistic. Now, I don't have a truck payment now, so add another grand, $1,200 to that. But I've never turned down a load because of money. And I've never taken a load because of money. So if you've watched my channel, there have been times when I had a load going to some bullshit receiver in New Jersey, paying all the money, and I've turned it down. And I've read the message back from my fleet manager. Okay, I'll turn down this 2-day load going to New Jersey for $4,000. Yeah, I've turned those down. To me, once you make everything... See, one thing my fleet manager can't trap me with is money. So nobody could ever say, it's paying all the money. Like, I stand on what I stand on, and it's not the money. The money, to me, sorts itself out. So I turned down that load, right? $4,000, 2 days going to New Jersey, whatever. Now, what ended up happening, which I didn't even think about, I turned it down just on site, was, well, it wasn't just New Jersey. It was a bullshit receiver. But what I didn't think about and didn't even put the effort into thinking about it because I was going to turn it down was that was right when that snowstorm hit New Jersey, right? So I took that other load that was an extra day that paid like $1,000 less going down to Texas somewhere, and probably ended up making more money on those consecutive loads after that because I didn't get held up in it. I choose loads because there's places I don't like to go and places I like to go. I wouldn't turn down a load that's paying $1.20 a mile going somewhere I like over a load that's paying, $3 a mile going somewhere I don't want to go. That's just me. I'm not saying I'm the right person to think about. That keeps my stress level. Doing what I want to do keeps my stress level low. So I'm not operating in this like I'm always, well, I can't say always. It wears me down to do shit that I don't want to do when I have the ability to not do it. JVC, after I paid my truck, it was an extra $13.50. Yeah, my current truck is only $11.60 a month or week, so yawning is some dumbass shit. Mr. Taco, is it authentic? Yes, I would say so. And it's not like these crazy tacos. It's just like the shit is prepared. It's basic. It's prepared right. And they got excellent sauces and hot sauces and stuff to go with it. It's not like a bunch of cheese or, a bunch of this or that, guacamole, sour cream. It's not a lot of that. It's just like basic shit. I'm not a fan of multi-stop loads since so much can go wrong. I'm with you on that, and that's one thing I factor in. If it's going somewhere I like to go, then I'll do it. If it's a bunch of multi-stop loads in the Northeast, maybe not so much. Now, there's certain places in the Northeast, I'm not saying I don't go to the Northeast. There's places in the Northeast I do not have a problem going. And there's certain receivers in the Northeast I don't have a problem going to. But this particular one in Jersey, I forget where it was. It was some bullshit. Like I was gonna have to park a truck, walk 8 blocks to get to the fucking place to go sign in. Meanwhile, while I'm walking up there, it looks like I'm in a Mob Deep video with fucking like trash cans on fire and people hanging out, having a fucking rap cipher, which might have been down for maybe, 20 years ago, but that's not something I want to do nowadays. But if, I'll go to Maine and go to that little Walmart up there, and then there's another like receiver up there I'll go to. There's a couple in Massachusetts I'll go to, but I got to be in and out. There's a certain point of no return. Like Prime will say, everybody in safety or training will say, you know what? If you run a stoplight, that's on your fault. If you went past the point of no return, well, okay, I'm going to agree with them. There's a point of no return. Once I get so far in the Northeast, there's a point where I'm not going to go any further into the Northeast. So I'm not going to be up in New York and go further northeast. No, I got to bring my ass back southwest some way, somehow. I'm not making a bad situation worse. So those are certain things I live by. And I tell my fleet manager, I need a pre-plan. I have nowhere to go when I'm up here. And they send me back something. Well, we'll try to find something. And I'm like, well, if you don't, make my PTA this date, because when I leave here, I'm headed south, stopping at this truck stop. I'm not going fucking further east from a certain point. And that takes a lot of pressure off me too, knowing that I'm making decisions on my own. I'm not just sitting here waiting around. If I'm sitting around in the Northeast, there's a problem, because either I'm going to have a plan or they're going to have a plan. We're both not going to be just dumb and not doing anything. I'm out. All right. Does Prime send you much multi-stop loads these days? It seems to be more and more lately. It used to be a time when I never got multi-stop loads, but I think I find myself delivering to a lot of small receivers lately that I may not have gone to. So I do think they're kind of stacking loads on top of each other. I'm not a fan of it, trust me. You talking about Elizabeth, New Jersey? No, I think it was somewhere in Jersey City or something. I don't remember where it was. It might have been like Fern Fresh or Wake Fern or something. There's two of them. One of them is decent. One of them actually has parking, but I've only picked up there. I haven't delivered there. But one, you have to park like there's no parking on the street because there's trucks that are parked all along the street. And fuck. I think it was Fern Fresh or Wake Fern or whatever it was. I was not trying to do it. Tyree, I'm stopping in Pennsylvania. I hear you. And there's a place in Pittston. Definitely it's on my do not return list. I think that's a U.S. Foods. One of the tightest places I've ever been to. And they throw disrespect on top of it. So I've gone to tight places where it's tighter than you wanted. And they kind of either were neutral or they respected you. But I'm not going to get disrespected and have a problem pulling into your shit on top of it. Elizabeth, New Jersey. I've been to Elizabeth, but I don't think this was the particular place that I went to. But yeah, trying to find parking. So that's another thing. Why am I going to fucking go to New Jersey or New York City area or Connecticut, any of that shit in that area when I got to worry about so much shit? Like, if the load pays all the money, but I got to pay all these tolls in and out, I got to get a shitty load coming out. I can't find parking, can't find a washout. Like, how much stress, how much money is stress worth? It's not worth it. So I'll do it to help my fleet manager if he needs to clear that off his desk or do whatever, you know, but I'm not willingly taking this shit. My limit is I-81. More east past that, I'm denying it. See, I'll go past that. I'm good with some of that stuff. The one with parking is the Wake Fern. Yeah, so Wake Fern, if they have the parking, that place isn't bad. It's a place in that same area where you have to walk like. First of all, there's no parking signs all over the place, and you got to walk like a mile to get to the gate. Then you gotta, it's just bullshit. And they got, anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Hernandez beef in Elizabeth, New Jersey is a damn nightmare. I think I've been there. I think it's been a while. I'd have to Google it to actually make sure. One thing I do is I leave reviews on almost every place I go to. So, and it says Lyle, no hippie, you know, whatever. So if you're ever the place, you know, look up the Google reviews. If you see a review that I post on there, trust that. Now, sometimes I will leave a bad review in terms of the stars, but I'll say this was my personal experience. This place I can see being a great place for most people to deliver, but this is what happened with me. So, Michael Foods in Elizabeth, New Jersey is horrible if anybody goes there. I haven't been there, I don't think. You're constantly playing yard jockey if you go there. I delivered to a small mom and pop meat place downtown Philly. Nope. Had to be there early because nope, the only way is the dock is go in one way. No, I will not go to Philadelphia. First of all, if you're telling me, Prime, that we're having issues with freight getting stolen out of there, and I'm going to a place that I don't want to go in the first place, and you're stacking up too much shit on me. Philadelphia, unless I know the place, because there's a couple places that say Philadelphia, like their little market out there. It's sort of like what's that market in Boston? It's sort of like that market in Boston, but it's in Philadelphia, down by the airport. But they do have parking. They do have easy docks to get into. They are great people to deal with. I forget the name of that place. It's like Chelsea Market, but it's in Philadelphia. If you've been there, let me know. Put it in the comments below. Sam's Club kept burning me before I left. could never drop off my load and had to constantly move their trailers to live unload. Boy, Sam's Club with Prime, I don't think we do those loads anymore, but that was a workout right there, boy. You could end up moving 3 trailers out of spots, putting your trailer in and finding places to park all those other ones. That could be some work. I've only done those Sam's Club loads maybe 3 times. No, probably 5, because I did 2 in Layton, 2 in Layton, Utah. I did 1 in, so 2, 3. I did 1 in South Dakota. I did 1 in Tennessee. I did 1 in College Station or College something, Pennsylvania. Maybe I'm probably missing 2. So let's say I've done 6. But the beauty is there's places to park out there. You could drop your load, park out there overnight. I don't have a Sam's Club card anymore, but if you do, that's a nice place to shop. Prime had me picking up at the place in Philadelphia with the trap house next door. Nope. I don't like, there's certain loads. If I get that load and I see a certain city, that's like, I'll turn that shit, like, I just won't even entertain it. Some places it'll be like New Jersey, Philadelphia is not an automatic turn down. It can be, but I know there's a couple places there I don't mind going to. But if it's not one of them places, I'm not even entertaining it. I'm not doing it. I enjoyed the free chocolate from Lent when picking up from them. I've never actually done one of those loads. But Philadelphia, Atlanta to me is not bad fucking traffic. I mean, it's bad, but it's not even close to some of these other places. Philadelphia is one. I drove through Philadelphia at like midnight on a regular day, and that shit was like traffic. And I've never delivered down in like them areas that, you know, some of you guys are talking about in Philadelphia. Usually when I go there, there've been decent places either to pick up from or deliver from, but that's on a case by case basis. I'm not getting robbed out there over some shit. Okay, yeah, but you can still find parking outside of Atlanta too. Northeast is just a nightmare. Atlanta has really good parking, especially if you're not one of prime drivers. One thing I will say, and Slime Pack, I hate, I don't know if she's still on here. Boy, prime drivers, they act like there's not a truck stop built that doesn't say Loves on the motherfucker. There is a ton of places to park in it, not central Atlanta, but once you get like, let's say 20 miles in either direction, mom and pop place, like there's a lot of places. Maybe not 20. Let's say 50 miles, 40 miles. But I don't, put it this way, when I get a load going to Atlanta or anywhere in that area, parking is not the first thing that comes to my mind. If I get a load going to Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York, city, any of that shit, the first thing on my mind is not getting the load there where it's parking. Nashville is horrible too. Shit. Like, well, at least the traffic moves through that. It's like confusing. Like if you go through Nashville and you don't know what lane you need to be in, that could be a problem. I've gone through Nashville enough to where I know, okay, if I'm coming off here, I need to get all the way to the left, or whatever it's got to be. But I don't think about traffic in Atlanta or Nashville all that much either. I never even thought about going to that TA in Nashville. Usually there's places that are outside of Nashville, that small mom and pop places, or maybe not mom and pop places. If you get there early enough, like there's some quick trips or come and goes or whatever they are around there. There's I don't think I've stayed at any of those truck stops, like the TA that's like in south of Nashville. I don't think I've stayed at any of those places like recently. I think there's Christiana, Tennessee, that there's a Love's, which all the prime drivers go to, but there's the place across the street that I go to that, is a little bit more parking. There's that Love's that's kind of on that 840 or 440 or whatever that is over there. I'll go there. I don't limit myself to parking like some prime people do. I gotta go to Love's. That's prime drivers right there. I gotta go to Love's. All right, I love going to the TA. I've never had a problem other than other drivers almost get into fight. The best TAs and Petros are better than the best Loves. Now, a lot of TAs and Petros are run down, but if you take the best of the best, there is no way that the best Loves ever invented is going to even compare to the best TAs and Petros ever invented. Now, Loves is a little, what you're going to get at Loves. And now, if you haven't been on the road, you might not know about Petros and TAs, but there's no Petros and TAs. The best Petros and TAs Loves can't even compare to that shit. Anyway, let me get off my bandwagon. And I'll still take the best off-brand truck stop over that. It's like that Florida sign saying free showers for truck drivers at a strip club. Yep, never been to those. I like to get just outside of Nashville. I'd like to get outside of any major city. I got to get them 2 free showers a day. Hey, fill up at a Petro or a TA. You even get you get all the showers you want. Plus, I'm not getting trapped in no Loves. Now, anyway, Loves are fine. I joke around with people about it, but to me, Loves is like a 40-degree day. Ain't nobody got shit good to say about a 40-degree day or bad about a 40-degree day. It's just another fucking day. Like, you go to that Petro that's got like the bowling alley in it, or, that's got like 10 restaurants in it, or, like the big glass one that's like in Montana or Idaho or wherever the fuck that is. Like, or you go to the one at the bottom of the Grapevine. Like, Loves can't compare to that shit. Christiana, Tennessee. Yeah, I go to the place across the street. The Shell or whatever that is, that's where I'm at out there. Are there any prime recruiters that you recommend? Heather Murrill. I love the TA. Now, one thing I don't like about Petro TA is this fucking paid parking bullshit they're trying to come up with. Now, I will boycott them over that shit. Now, if they let me use my points or, if they allow me to use my credits to pay for the parking, that's one thing. But if they're saying not only are they going to charge parking to get onto the lot, but now you got to pay to get reserved parking within that lot, kind of like Ontario Petro, then I will boycott your ass in a heartbeat over that shit. All right, I love the TA because it was right by the bridge to get to downtown Nashville. Yeah, I never went to that one. Love says the cleanest showers. Man, I ain't out there trying to lick the fucking floor. All I need to do is scrub my nuts. I'm not out here trying to, cook dinner in the motherfucker. And I was in the Marine Corps, so that might change it up a little bit. I've had to deal with things that are a little less sanitary than maybe most people. TA is great. They just look run down. Not all of them look run down. Like, some of them are fucking... Like, man, this lets me know people don't stop at TAs and Petros now. Like, okay, there's a TA Petro outside of Chicago on I-55. I forget the name of the city. But they got like the Charlie's, like, the little cheesesteak place. They got like all these different places in there. Those showers are as clean as any of them. I don't know if that's the one, but there's TAs and Petros that got TVs built into the fucking shower, like into the like mirrors in front of the, you know. There's the TA in Oakley or Petro in Oakley, Colorado. That thing I put against any fucking Loves out there. There's the TA in Bakersfield or whatever, TA or Petro. I put that up against any Loves. There's one in South Carolina. I think I put up against any Loves. I could think of. Shit, the one in Gary, Indiana, I think I'd put up against. I mean, that might be a split. Fuck. Expand your mind. All right, I always ride my electric skateboard over and find all kinds of good food. Yep. The Indigo's saying, "What's up to Slime Pack? I'm back." There's a dope ass mom and pop truck stop north of Carolina called Bill's. There's a ton of excellent mom and pop truck stops. There's one in Indiana right before you get into Chicago. I think it's on 65. I think it's called Compass or something like that. That place is awesome. A lot of those roadies are awesome. Or not roadies, but Mach 1. Mach some, like, I don't know. Some of those are like, man, I will always choose a fucking off-brand truck stop that has, like, sometimes I won't in the winter, depending on how rugged they are. But if I have my shower taken care of, I did that earlier in the day, or I don't need one or whatever, I will always choose a mom and pop truck stop over a regular truck stop. All things being equal. Like, you're never, ever going to see me, unless I need a shower, at a Love's and have, like, a fucking Quick Trip or a Quick Star or a mom and pop place right across the street. Not going to happen. Ever. Anyway. Slime Pack, you haven't been to no real TAs and Petros. You've been to the raggedy ones. Go to the truck, go to the Petro at the bottom of the Grapevine and tell me that there's a Love's that's better than that. Go to the Petro or TA. There's one in Virginia. Forget what city it's in. It's the one that like has a bowling alley or some shit in it. Tell me you've been there and there's a Love's that compete with that. Or there's a Love's that can compete with the like I said, Colby, Colorado. Not a Love's that can compete with that. Whether it's cleanliness, better food. Like the one in Colby, Colorado got Chinese food, Qdoba, like a pizza, all kinds of shit.
I just finished that zebra popcorn.
Yeah, I don't. Actually, I'm not a huge fan of that. If it was just straight caramel, I'd be on it.
That was good shit. So I finished it for us. I took one for the team.
Peruvian trucker says a 40-degree day is cold as fuck. Yep. Some people are softer than others. One thing I never do at any truck stop is get their ice cubes. They never clean their machines. Man, you know what? I'm guilty of that, but I did work at Burger King back in the day, so I know how nasty those like self-serve machines can be, and I do think about that on occasion because I know that any of those are going to be nasty. Yeah. Roadies is a great truck stop. I agree. Atlanta Petro isn't bad. Atlanta Petro isn't bad other than it's too busy and the parking lot is too big, and like it's just a whole lot easier to piss out there than it is to go into the restroom. So it's always smelling like piss. So I wouldn't say it's bad. It's always packed. And what I will say is that Blue Beacon is probably the best Blue Beacon in the country. Uh-oh, let's see. A lot of people don't know that if you reserve parking, you can use that for the ticket out. I did not know that, so I might start using that. Because I've always either gone there and bought the $25 worth of shit, which isn't hard. Because a lot of times I'll buy that with the food credits, get that receipt and use that or whatever. But boy, it takes a lot for me to stop down there at that Petro, let me tell you. All right. Even Ontario Petro, you can use reserve ticket on your way out. I did not know that. So you got to go in and print the ticket and do all that. I didn't know that. Only time I made sure to get paid parking was when I had to stay in Miami. I don't typically try to go that south in Florida. I did. So now I know a couple places to sit in the cut if I go down that far south. How much was that?
What?
How much was that?
$39.99.
Okay.
Machine washable.
The Blue Beacon, the strip club, and the barbecue is at the same Atlanta Petro. I don't think that strip club is still there. Last time I drove in there, I think that place was getting torn down or something like that. That place was like old school. I ain't leaving a truck stop. Like, first of all, if you park there, it takes like a mile to get out of the truck stop and then to even walk over there. But I could just imagine what that situation was like. Not anywhere I was going to be thinking about.
How many times you been in a strip club?
Zero. Absolutely. Zero since I met your ass, period. Even before that.
I've only been once.
It wasn't your ass to maybe not go to a strip club. I'm just not wasting all the fucking money like that.
Oh, now you gotta try to sound tough.
No, I'm just saying it because it's fucking real.
Okay. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I laughed the whole time and embarrassed my friend.
Did you mind repeating Heather's recruiter's last name? Murrill. Let me see if I could put this in the chat. I'm not sure if I can. I don't think I can. Yeah, I don't think I can. I don't know why I can't. They stay on trucker path, but no parking. But when you get there, I don't trust. Okay, so I just watched a guy that works at Prime, and he ended up parking on the side of the highway. And I'm going to give him his props for doing his little exercises on the side of a fucking highway. But there has never been a time that I've never been able to find parking. Ever. Right? So I live by what my trainer used to always say, Lyle, there's always a spot. I've pulled up to truck stops where there's trucks on both sides of the ramps going both ways, and I pull in the truck stop and there's 3 spots there. I've never had a problem parking at a truck stop. I may have had to drive down longer or whatever, but I've never not been able to get parking within the lines, even on top of that. So I've never made my spot at a truck stop. I almost did once about 2 months ago in I forget where I was at. I was at a Road Ranger. I almost parked next to the scale, but I stayed up and waited for somebody to leave, and I was able to hit that spot. But I will never park on the side. Well, there's just too many places to fucking park. Why would I park? Okay, here's what I would do before I park on the side of a highway. This motherfucker's out here doing fucking push-ups and jumping jacks and fucking all this shit on the side. What I would do is Google a fucking warehouse and go park in a fucking. I haven't had to do that yet, but I would go find an industrial area to park in before I go take a fucking 10-hour break on a ramp or on the side of a highway, just wouldn't happen. I think a lot of people are scared to pull into a Love's in the middle of the night and there's one spot to get into, or they run their clock down too much, or they don't even consider smaller truck stops. But you'll never see that. If you see my truck on the side of a highway or a ramp or some shit like that, text me, send a picture, and I'll pay you fucking $300 for that shit. Ain't happening. I will never be that fucking bad. I'll sit in a fuel island at a truck stop, wait for a few hours for somebody to pull out and go pull in. Never gonna happen. Also, if you run out of time, well, I'm gonna run out of time. I ain't scared of being in the red. Yeah, not sleeping on the highway. There's just too many fucking places to park. Like incognito place. I still haven't used that shit, but that is my go-to right there. If I ever go to that last truck stop, because I'm gonna start looking an hour out. Maybe, whatever. Or I just know certain places I go to, the Loves be like fucking fully packed. And I'm looking across the street at this mom and pop place with a dirt lot that's got 40 fucking acres of free parking, and everybody's over at the fucking Loves. I don't. And then they're like, they leave there and go park on the side of the highway because that's all they know. I don't get it. I just don't. Anyway, I don't know why people do it. I can't even speculate on it. Yeah, I don't get the whole parking on the highway. Does Prime still ever have personal conveyance? I remember before I left, they were restricting it. I haven't had my personal conveyance restricted, but I haven't tried to use it that much just because I didn't want to deal with the fucking headaches. What Prime has done is beat the fucking life out of you. So rather than me even worry about even having them call me, is I'm just like, fuck it. Let me just go ahead and do my thing. And I'll do it on duty unless it's an actual emergency, because I don't want them, they're just trying to beat the resistance at it. Beat fucking everything out of you. I don't do it unless it's necessary. T-News, they don't want to get their truck dirty. Hey, I agree. So I'm not sure I would in the winter, I don't go to a lot of mom and pop places that have dirt lots because I'm afraid that it's going to snow and I might get trapped in there because them mom and pop places, nobody's coming to rescue you in the morning with a snow plow. You got to thug that one out. So if I'm in a bad area, then I may lean towards, Love's, Petro, Flying J, TA, whatever. Or if I park at a mom and pop place, if it's not concrete, if it's dirt, I might park on the edge somewhere where I can just get out a little bit easier, whatever. But and I'm not worried about hearing shit from logs. I'm worried about hearing shit from. I'm not even going to talk about it because I'm going to keep this video up. The people that you hear in the meetings that talk about how easy it is to find, how you shouldn't do this and shouldn't do that haven't driven, that's who I don't want to hear from. Logs, I'm not too worried about that, but yeah. I've been driving for 25 years and trucking companies are not like they used to be. I can understand all these companies just lie to you all the time. I can understand that being in trucking 25 years, you've gone through a lot of different changes and stuff like that. So I can obviously empathize from that. But I'm even talking about the last 3 years at Prime has kind of been, like I said, if we're making it about the money, then I can make it about the money. But I was doing a lot of shit at Prime, not because of the money, but because my loyalty. So actually making it all about the money and all that takes a lot of stress off me, because there's a lot of things I used to do out of loyalty that I may not do. Now, I still do maintain that loyalty with my fleet manager, but as Prime as a whole, like for Christmas and doing, no, that's done right there. Yeah, 412, exactly. Let's not get me in trouble. So that's as deep as I'm gonna go on that one. Oh, because they're quick. Oh, let me stop. Let me stop. Let me stop. Trucking is weird because you can run hard and hard as fuck and set yourself up for success, and they still hold you back. These companies want X amount of revenue per truck. See, I don't necessarily know about that, or if I even think that with Prime. I think I'm neutral on that, but I can see how somebody would think that. I wish I could find a local fuel hauling job. If I lived in a different state, I would probably have already done something like that, but Colorado is not the place to be fucking around and finding out about these mountains in the wintertime. But if you don't like rules and shit now, that's... you're going to have a hard time being successful running fuel. Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why when I was going through my, do I really want to be at Prime thing, was I was looking at kind of Landstar. Just out of principle, I didn't want to get a hazmat thing because I'm never going to do it. I'm not even trying to, listen, I'm a basic... Well, when it comes to trucking, I'm a basic ass bitch. I'm not trying to get out there and do no crazy shit. I'm not trying to haul no over dimensional fuel, nothing that really no tech, none of that. I just want regular shit. Now, if you're young and you want to scale up and do all that, then that's a different story. But I'm too old in my life to be worried about adding extra responsibility, stress, and all that on top of what I got. Shoot, I'm out here like Wild Beard. I might get a little bit of gray coming down here. You grow that out long like that? All right. Yeah, I don't want to run fuel or anything like that. Yep. Easiest is less responsibility as possible. I mean, it's hard enough abiding by Prime babysitting you on every fucking turn, let alone some, real hazmat type shit. $412 runs over dimensional every now and then. That's just because I get talked into it. I hear permits and DOT. Absolutely. I tell you where Prime drivers are going to get in trouble is this new GPS shit, and all they're going to do is throw it back on drivers, right? But, they go to this new GPS shit. That shit is having you run directly through Atlanta and not take the bypasses when you go through there. So everything is about lowering our score and all this shit. Wait till a bunch of trucks get stopped going through Atlanta without going through that bypass. I understand, T-News, you don't have to run hazmat, but you have to have hazmat to get hired on. So my thing is, if I don't have to run hazmat, why the fuck do I need to get hazmat? All right, Moto just trucking 4. Oh shit, they changed their GPS on Qualcomm. They got rid of the Qualcomm with this new nanny cam that they got. So it's not even the same thing. It's like some tablet and some other shit. Now, I don't like the Qualcomm or the Navigo or whatever that was. in terms of how sluggish it was and slow. But one thing that shit did, that shit damn near dropped you off at the receiver's desk. Like, you be like right on top of that motherfucker. Now, this new shit, not so much. And I've just looked at it, routes I've taken. It's like clown routes. I might be one of them. Shit. I'm not saying I'm not a driver that can't get like in a bad situation. These GPSs are going to put people in bad situations. I'm telling you now, if you're watching this video 6 months from now, there's going to be somebody in prime safety talking about how many of our trucks got fucking stuck on no truck routes or in bad situations or got this coming. I'm just telling you right now. 6 months from now, when you hear this come out, say, yep, Lyle told me that shit was going to happen. Yep. The Qualcomm was slow, but at least it got you right to the entrance. Anyway, I'm about to get off of here because I'm starting to feel like I want to talk about some shit that I don't want to talk about on camera. So I'm going to get off here before I even get that urge to talk about some of that. I had a co-pilot years ago when I was a rookie, and goddamn, have a good day. All right. Anyway, I'm about to get off here. I do appreciate you guys stopping by here. I didn't get a paycheck for 3 weeks, not because anything other than I'm chilling for 3 weeks. My fleet manager did reach out to me today because he wanted me to do something, and I mean, not trucking related. So I went ahead and did that, and I was waiting for him to say, so when are you coming out, boss? He didn't. I think he knows, like, not to fuck with me right now. So he didn't even follow up with that one yet. So I'm just chilling, relaxing. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.